From the MiamiHerald.com. Little penguin divorce rate worrying wildlife experts in Australia. Is love dead? From prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, and if you love talking about animals, share this show with everyone you know. You can catch our live streams at 6 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday on Rumble and YouTube. Now, let's get into the news of the day and dive into this little penguin divorce rate issue. Little penguins, the subjects of the Australia Penguin Parade, are leaving love behind and showing higher divorce rates, worrying experts. I bet there's something not so terrible about this. I've heard of this with other animals before, especially monogamous animals, meaning that they mate for life. From March of the Penguins to Happy Feet. Um, Happy Feet was a terrible movie. March of the Penguins was, I have to be honest, even for somebody like me, boring. Like it was just emperor penguins, the largest species of penguin on Earth, and also not a penguin that you find usually in Australia. One happened to pop up during the fall last year, or at least in Australia terms, during the wet season. But for some reason, this individual made some insane journey from the coast of Antarctica up to some beach off of southwestern Australia, and um, the locals captured it and sent it to a vet. I believe it was healthy, but it was just a big question as to why. I mean,
Why it was there?
yeah, why it was there. I mean, that's just unheard of. Emperor penguin parents. Oh, okay. Two happy feet. Penguins have been a symbol of love through their devotion to their young and their lifelong partnerships. Well, okay. I haven't ever heard of them referred to as that type of a symbol, but yeah, I would think the more like the better version would be just marriage. Emperor penguin parents battle the extreme polar south to protect their fluffy babies, and Gentoo penguins scour the beach until they find the perfect stone to give to their mate. Gentoo penguins are a lot smaller than the emperor penguins. Gentoo penguins are found off of the coast of South America, and they can coexist with southern elephant seals. They reach somewhere around 15 to 25 pounds and maybe around 20-25 inches in height. Emperor penguins can reach 4 foot 11 in some rare cases, but average somewhere between like 3 foot 10 to 4 foot 5, and they can weigh up to 80 to 90 pounds. But I wouldn't look at penguins as a good symbol for love, marriage, parenting, because um, they abandon their chicks not too long afterwards. And um, in many cases, like let's say they're trying to adopt a chick, in many cases, you can have several parents smush a chick to death in that case. Now, a group of penguins in Australia are stomping all over their lovebird reputation through cheating scandals and divorce, and wildlife experts are worried. Phillip Island, a small island just off the coast of Melbourne, Australia, is home to 37,000 little penguins, a small species of small penguin with blue hued feathers, according to a January 17th news release from Monash University. So, little penguins, this isn't just some relative term. This is actually a distinct genus of the family of birds called Spheniscidae, which is the family of birds that consists of all 31 different species of penguin that exist today. So, from the emperor to the little penguin species, so the genus Eudelidae being the smallest genus of penguins today, and with two distinct species. Eudelidae minor being the smallest. The Phillip Island Nature Parks hosts a penguin parade, which allows visitors to watch as the penguins waddle from the water back to their sandy burrows each night, according to the park. I think this has been going on for decades. So here is probably, um, I'm guessing it's the Australian little penguin, which is the larger species. What I mean by larger as they get to around 13 to 14 inches in height and might weigh around just over 3 pounds. Little penguins have blue and white feathers instead of the famous black and white bodies in most penguins. They also feed on completely different types of marine life as well. Same thing with the smaller species. But these little birds seem to have lost some of these sanctity of penguin partnerships, resulting in fewer little penguin chicks, according to a study published January 11th in the peer-reviewed journal Ecology and Evolution. So, when looking at the little penguin, which is the species of Eudelidae that exists on the islands of New Zealand, and this species reaches somewhere between 2 to 2.5 pounds. In good times, they largely stick with their partners, although there's often a bit of a hanky panky happening on the side. Richard Reina, head of the Eco Physiology and Conservation Research Group at Monash University, said in the release. However, after a poor reproductive season, they may try and find a new partner for the next season to increase their breeding success. Okay, well, this is interesting. There are certain cases with different species of penguin where there will be the couple and a strange male will come over and attempt to steal the female. And there have been cases where it's like her, um, you could say, husband barely put up a fight and the invader ends up literally stabbing his eye out, is how brutal some of these penguin fights can be. It's not usually seen with emperors. It's actually smaller penguin species you tend to see this with. um, Researchers tracked the penguin marriages over 13 breeding seasons, noting when couples stayed together or divorced and went their separate ways, according to the study. Also, when looking at their feeding behavior, the Australian little penguin feeds primarily on different species of crustaceans. Not so much krill, but they're going after different marine crustaceans within the region. And I believe occasionally seahorses. It's a very small part of their diet. Breeding success was then measured by the number of eggs per breeding pair, and then how many of those eggs hatched, fledged, um, meaning once they reached maturity, or well, yeah, and then reached an age of at least 45 days old, according to the study. No, wait, that fledged. No, it's not breeding. It's not hitting me what that is. It's some stage between the hatchling and finally making out to sea. We recorded nearly 250 penguin divorces from about 1,000 pairs throughout the study. And we found that years with a lower divorce rate resulted in higher breeding success, Reiner said. Oh, yeah, that seems to make sense. So these are a group of the, I'm guessing, Australian little penguin, but there's also little penguin over New Zealand.
What's this guy?
This is probably the little penguin. They also have a distinct color pattern too from the Australian little penguin. But for a long time, it was believed that the little penguin was its own distinct species. And then, due to further analysis on their DNA, found that they're actually quite different from each other. And they are two distinct species of the genus Eudelitis. The more than decade-long study found the rate of divorce among penguins is a more reliable predictor of the reproductive success of the colony than environmental factors like habitat change or behavioral traits like the time they spend foraging for prey. And with more divorces and repairings in a breeding season, resulting in lower reproductive success across the colony, the university said. That's interesting. This is a lot like almost certain mammals. The birds may be looking for new lovers after unsuccessful breeding seasons, hoping to have a better number of eggs, researchers said. When looking at animals like the emperor penguin, emperor penguins tend to have a much lower divorce rate in this instance. And usually, when the husband or the wife goes missing or ends up being dead, it's usually because like a leopard seal got him, or he froze to death when protecting his egg during the long winter blizzards of June, July, August. In the long term, this will lead to more little penguins, but in the short term, this behavior can put a real dent in their population numbers, researchers said. If you're looking at penguin species like the South African species of penguin that lives off of different areas of the southern extents of the country, a lot of the time, what's a big problem for them is not necessarily massive weather events or extreme, like even, yeah, like weather events. It's the caracals, the wild cats in the region that have actually been having a drastic impact on their population. And there have been efforts to either call some of the caracals or just have heavier security around the penguins so that they're actually able to reproduce and make it out to sea. When penguins divorce, it takes time to find a new mate. They can stir up rivalries and fights, and there can be less reproductive familiarity between new bird partners, making the early days of the new marriage more difficult, according to the study. Mm. This means there may be fewer eggs in a breeding season immediately after a divorce, but that number could then rise once the birds have been together for multiple seasons. Well, yeah, I mean, once it takes several seasons or years in this instance, then can they finally have success with their eggs? But that is interesting how important that original monogamous relationship is for the success of their species. Little penguins are the world's smallest penguins and are identifiable by their blue and white feathers in contrast to the famous black and white seen in other species. The largest population of little penguins is on Phillip Island, and because of the food they eat, the penguins are good indicators of the surrounding ocean's health. This can be true with many species of marine bird, but you also have to take into account the pinnipeds in different regions. There are certain Cape fur seals that will occur off the coast of Australia. I believe in some cases over 200,000 occur off the coast of Australia with the Cape fur seals. Also, let's see. Oh, referring to the New Zealand little penguin, so the species minor, it it feeds specifically on different species of codfish and a variety of different species of fish within the region, not coming into contact with the crustaceans that the Australian little penguin eats. So, despite them not living too far from each other, they do feed on quite different species of marine life. Though Cape fur seals, orcas, even sharks will make use of them as a snack. But this is good to hear that technically they're not in crucial danger. They're for some reason like there was just um, a bad like maybe generation or two of males possibly, or maybe it was a females. This is it's we really don't know, but it's good that there are other instances where they're having major breeding success. Also, between the two species, there are somewhere between 300,000 and 600,000 breeding pairs. So they are even more successful in population than the emperor penguins, despite their even close proximity to people and back in the Antarctic. I mean, emperors come in contact with what a couple thousand a year, so they're doing quite well.
Oh,
Oh, so let me know in. Oh, I didn't realize we had a. Yeah, here they come. Yeah, I believe on the island of Tasmania alone, which is off the coast of southeastern Australia, there's somewhere around 190,000 Australian little penguin pairs. So they're doing quite well even on the island of Tasmania. Let me know what your favorite species of penguin is and what you thought or what you think about little penguins in general in the comments. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, and if you love talking about animals, share this show with everyone you know. You can catch our daily news live streams at 6 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday on Rumble and YouTube. And thank you for joining Creature Guide Live, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.